Yes, we can, perfectly.
Perfect. So thank you very much, Julio, and thank you very much to all the organizers of this Technology Day for inviting us to be here in this session. I am Cristina Garrido. I am the National Contact Point for Cluster 5, Climate, Energy and Mobility in Horizon Europe, and in particular for the energy part. I work at CDTI, which is an agency under the Ministry of Science and Innovation in Spain. And in my talk, I'm just going to guide you a little bit through the opportunities for CSP in Horizon Europe. I'm quite sure you are very familiar already with the structure of the program for this period 2021-2027. This is organized in pillars, and if we look in pillar 2, we have what we used to find in previous framework programs, all the different programs, so all the different themes. Now Commission has organized the program and themes in clusters. There are clusters which correspond to one single program, let's say like cluster 1, health, but there are others like 4, 5 and 6, which are grouping several programs. So in cluster 5, we have climate, energy and mobility. So 3 themes all together in one single cluster, which means that for us is only one committee with the Commission, and for you is only one single work program, which is the document which includes all the different topics and calls. So one single work program for the whole cluster 5, which means a document of 500 pages. So maybe not so easy to digest, but I'm going to try to find your the opportunities for you in this document. So in cluster 5, what we find is the destinations. That's the first new term used by the Commission. And destination 1 corresponds to climate. Destination 2 corresponds to cross-sectoral solutions, which means opportunities for climate, energy and mobility. And then destinations 3 and 4 are both energy. Devoted to energy, and then we have destinations 5 and 6 dealing with transport. So energy, we can find it in destinations 2, 3 and 4. What we have under the destinations are the areas, and if we take a look in these 3 destinations for the energy part of the cluster, we focus on destination 3, where we find the area of renewable energy, and this is where we will find CSP opportunities. The cluster 5 budget for the whole period 2021-2027 is 15 billion, and for these 2 first years 21-22 is 3 billion, and more than half of the budget goes for energy. So energy is the biggest program in the cluster. And on the right-hand side, you thematic heading in the cluster, in the cluster, so you can see that renewable energy is the biggest one. But if we then take a look at the budget allocation within the renewable energy per technology, we can see that CSP is not the biggest one. That was already anticipated at the beginning of the morning. So we see that wind, PV and the grouping of all the biofuels, bioenergy and renewable fuels are the biggest ones. So which ones, just before I give you the topics and the calls of relevance for CSP, another mention for additional opportunities in Horizon Europe, which are the partnerships. So we have in the slide the partnerships related to energy, and I draw your attention to the category of co-funded partnerships. Here we have the partnership Clean Energy Transition. What is a co-funded partnership? Is what you, I can imagine, you know, as the previous ERANETs. So in a co-funded partnership, a partnership is set up between the Commission and the funding agencies in the different countries. And these all together, they will launch joint goals. So the funding for the participants come from the national R&D national funding agency. In the case of Spain, we have CDTI funding the industry, the for-profit organizations, and the agency for national research. You all know it, IAE in Spanish, which is providing the funding for the research organizations. So this Clean Energy Transition Partnership, why I mention it? Because it is organized in challenges. It includes thematically a broad range of technologies, and one of them is this challenge of zero emission power technologies, where we can expect that there might be opportunities as well for CSP. The current status of these partnerships is that they are in the process of being set up between all the different funding agencies in the different countries and the Commission. And the first call for this partnership, this Clean Energy Transition Partnership, is expected somewhere maybe spring 2022. Hopefully before summer we can have already the first call, but it is indeed to be confirmed. So we don't have for the time being any further detail on the content of this first call. Now, coming back to Cluster 5 and the energy calls, we have 12 different deadlines, and I just mention here and highlight those deadlines where we can find topics of interest for CSP. And we are going to see them more in detail now. As I mentioned, we find all the topics on CSP, we find them in Destination 3. So, another consideration is that in Horizon Europe, as in previous framework programs, when you write your proposal, you have to write different sections. One of the sections is section 2, impact, and there you are asked to describe how your project contributes to the expected outcomes and to the expected impacts. The expected outcomes, you will find them in your particular topic, but the expected impacts, you won't find it in the topic. You have to go to the introduction of the destination and find them there. So for Destination 3, these are the expected impacts, and for there are these additional expected impacts to be addressed by projects. Having said that, for the concentrated solar power, specifically there are two topics. The code, the color code means that these two different colors mean that the topics are in different calls with different deadlines. We can see here the calls, and we had the dates in the previous slides. And you also have what type of action, whether it is a research and innovation action or an innovation action, indicated for each of the topics, as well as the indicative budget per project expected in that topic, the total budget of the topic, and therefore a very simple calculation to know how many projects could be funded in each of the topics. So just these two ones, the first one has a deadline in February next year. It is a topic on novel approaches to CSP. So projects should work on novel solutions that use this concentrating solar thermal energy to generate power. In terms of power dispatchability, these novel solutions will have to ensure performance at solutions that generate power and heat are in scope of the topic, as well as solutions that combine CSP with photovoltaic. Then what is expected here is a significant performance regarding startup, shutdown and load variation of future CSP plants. The next topic is quite long ahead of us. The deadline of this call is 10th January 2023, and it is on innovative components and or subsystems for CSP plants and or concentrating solar thermal installations. So the components and subsystems should allow better efficiency in terms of solar energy conversion, and the topic requests that an interval of at least 6 months covering all possible incidence angles of the direct solar radiation. It is also requested to assess the sustainability of these components or subsystems in environmental, social and economic terms. And another requirement is that all demonstrators are fully applicability, upscaling, and also to assist on future planning decisions. The aim at the end is to get reduced cost for the operation and maintenance of these plants. A topic I mentioned as well, this topic on solar fuel technologies. This topic belongs to a call closing in October next. Interfaces between solar fuel technologies and other renewables. So these interfaces to couple the solar fuel technologies to other renewables, such as, for example, biosources, which allow an efficient feeding of other forms of renewable energy into solar fuel conversion technologies. So the aim here is bridging this solar energy and other renewables to boost the production of the renewable fuels. To finish my presentation with the 4 additional topics which are not specific to CSP but are open to any renewable technology, and therefore CSP could also be one of the technologies. These are more smaller projects, one on educational aspects of the renewable technologies, one on the market uptake for the entire renewable energy market, or for the or a specific energy sector. Another one, quite interesting one, close in February next year, which is on the next generation of renewable energy technologies. The interest here is that you can prepare projects at lower TRL. The requested TRL at the end of the project is TRL 3 and 4. So it is breakthrough high-risk technologies that could be submitted in this topic. And the aim is to prove the technological feasibility of the concept you propose. One supporting the activities of the technology platforms and the different areas of the set plan, and of course concentrated solar thermal energy is one of the areas. I leave you here a lot of information, very useful and helpful, on the different webinars organized by the European Commission this year on the new rules of Horizon Europe and the new template and how to prepare proposals. You also have all the information that we provided in our National Info Day for the Cluster 5, as well as in the Commission Info Day for Cluster 5. And for partner search, you have that tool there of the brokerage, which took place in July. Now, I think this is more of interest for all the Spanish participants at the meeting. Tenéis ahí los contactos tanto de Luisa como mi propio email y una mención al portal español de Horizonte Europa, que es la nueva herramienta que vamos a utilizar para informaros de eventos, jornadas y todo lo que organicemos relativo a Horizonte Europa. Y quería aprovechar no solamente la oportunidad para que indicaros el portal, sino ser un poquito más específica y deciros que para recibir cualquier información deberíais de suscribiros a los canales RSS en la página web del portal. Aquí a la derecha tenéis el simbolito de RSS que os lleva a esta página web. Aquí abajo veríais el listado de todos los programas de Horizonte Europa. Y si os queréis suscribir a uno de ellos, pongamos por ejemplo el Cluster 5 y también Energía, os pondríais con el ratón sobre el canal, le daríais al botón derecho para copiar la dirección de enlace y llevar ese enlace que acabáis de copiar a vuestro lector de noticias, que puede ser el propio Outlook o cualquier otro lector de noticias como Feedly y otros. En cualquier caso, aquí tenéis un link de cómo utilizar esto de los canales RSS. From my side, just a few conclusions that energy is in Cluster 5, and in particular, we have energy topics in Destination 3, 4, and 2. CSP is in Destination 3, and also we can find opportunities for CSP topics and calls in the co-funded partnership Clean Energy Transition. And the calls for the clean energy transition are not published yet, but the calls for Cluster 5 are all published. The work program was published on 15th of June, and you have there the link. That's all from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Cristina, and so sorry for the delay. And thank you so much for the presentation.